So as we just saw that we have two loaders in the application, like when the user is trying to visit a shortened link. So the thing is that within the app component, we added the initial load, which displays the loader until it is known that whether or not the user is authenticated. So it makes sense to check the authentication state, because using that we are redirecting the user as well. But the thing is, if the user is trying to visit a shortcode, a shortened link to be precise, if they're trying to visit that, it doesn't make any sense to check the authentication state. So we need to figure out a way in order to skip the initial load, the first one which checks the user authentication. We want to skip this thing. So for that, what we can do is we can check the path, the URL that the user is currently on. If it is like in either one of these, like the root of our application, the home page or the account page, then we do need to know that if they are authenticated or not. So it makes sense to go through the initial load and to check and to display that loader. Otherwise it doesn't make sense to check, like to show the initial load. So what we can do is we can make use of a hook that React Router DOM package provides, and on this thing we have the use location, which when invoked gives us the location object on which we have the path name. Now the thing is, if we head back to the project over here within the app component, if we try importing the use location and if we invoke it right over here, which will give us the location object, we will see that this thing won't work. In fact, it's going to throw a warning in the console. As you will see right now, that it's going to say something like location not defined, something like that. So the thing is, in order to use the use location, let me just show the warning first. There we have it, cannot read property location of undefined. So the thing is, in order to use the use location, the component itself, in this case the app component, it needs to be within the scope of browser router that we have actually added over here, this thing. So this router should be wrapping the app component. So for that, let's remove the router from here and let's get to the index.js, the entry point of our application. Let's import the same thing from the React Router DOM package. Let's move this thing over here. Let's import the package. Now we just need to wrap the app component inside of the router, and now we should be able to use the use location hook that was earlier throwing a warning. So as you can see, it's working fine. Now if we just log the location object to the console, we will see within this we should be having the path name. This is the object within which we have the path name which says account. So that's great. And for our application, it's going to be pretty simple, as we just have two paths, two screens. So we just need to check that if the user is on or they are trying to visit these two paths, then we do need to check. So over here, for the default value for the initial load, we can check, well actually the location has to be above the initial load. And let's also destructure the path name. So we need to check that if the path name is / the root, or the path name is / account, the account path, only then the default value for the initial load should be true. Otherwise it can be false, which means that the user is trying to visit the shortcode. The other thing to keep in mind is that regardless what value that you set over here, it is just going to affect the displaying of loader. Like in the background, it's still going to check the authentication state, but that doesn't matter because we are not using this thing in any case. So yep, now we do have this check. So now if I visit the account page, we should be seeing the loader. Let's see. There we have it. And if we visit the home page, we should be seeing the loader, and then we should be pushed to the account page, which will make it like, which will prove that everything is working fine. So that's great. So now if we try to visit a short code, we shouldn't be seeing that initial loader, the application loader, and we should be seeing the internal one that we have over here. So that's great. It means that we have everything in place. So now